Hello, super quick intro. Today I'm going to be showing you how you can solve the Hanayama U&U puzzle. It's a level 4 out of a possible 6 on the Hanayama difficulty scale. And before we get into it, this solution is not a pretty one. It is not a nice, amazing, smooth movement that feels awesome and then everything separates. And similarly putting it back together, it's just not pretty. There's a lot of little screwing backward and forward with the nuts. There's a lot of awkward trying to get certain pieces past other pieces. So you will need some patience with this one, but you will get it eventually if you follow what you're about to see. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so here we have a fully assembled U&U puzzle. Before we actually get into the solution, there is 4 things that you need to be aware of. Now, obviously we've got 2 different pieces. We've got the U&U bolt and its 2 nuts, and we've got the Hanayama bolt and its 2 nuts. First of all, we'll have a look at the Hanayama bolt. So if you look at its 2 nuts, you may have noticed, you may have not noticed, because it's a very, very slight thing. You may even struggle to see it on camera, but if you've got your own puzzle, it'll be a little bit easier to spot. So you might have noticed that one of these sides on each of these 2 nuts is very, very slightly shaven down. So as I look at it here, this side on this nut is shaven down, and this nut, or this side of this nut, is also shaven down. So you can see it from a bird's eye view on each piece. You can also see it looking at the faces, if you like, of each side. This face, this is the shaven down piece. This is much flatter and much bigger than these other faces of this nut piece here. And then same here, this is the shaven down side. These are not quite as flat as that piece. Also, on the Hanayama bolt, there is also another shaven down piece, which is in here. So you may not be able to see this on camera as well as you would looking at your own puzzle in real life, but in here there is a slightly shaven down part of the bolt, and that is very important for the first move that we're going to do. So those are 3 things that you need to be aware of. There's one more thing that you need to be aware of on the U&U piece, and that is that as we look at it with the U&U engraving facing us, it'll be upside down, but it's facing us. As we look at this, the nut on the right also has a shaven down side, which is this side in here. Again, you can see it from a bird's eye view. You can see it from a side-on view. Okay. This nut on the left-hand side is the only nut that doesn't have a shaven down side, which is awkward because it adds moves to getting this solved, and the first of which is the most awkward move. So now for the actual solution, I'm going to try and keep the U&U bolt facing us, the engraving facing us the whole time. That'll help with sort of following along for you solving this one. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slide the nut on the left hand side, the one that doesn't have a shaved edge, all the way to the bottom in there. And what we're going to then do is use the shaved bit on the inside of the bolt of the Hanayama piece. We're going to angle that piece into a position where we can use that shaved down edge to slide past the bolt. Now the position of the nut on the other side shouldn't matter, but it seems to help me if I'm struggling, because this is quite an awkward move doing that. I mean, I've done it a few times there, but it is quite an awkward move. But I have found that if I am struggling, if I just move the bolt around, it shouldn't help, but it seems to for me, that it does make it easier to slide past and get into this position. Once you've done that, we can then put this nut to the top of the Hanayama piece. So we're in that same orientation. We've got the U&U piece here. This is the Hanayama piece. And this is one of the nuts with a shaved down edge, and I can see that that shaved down edge is here. What we're then going to do is we're going to turn the puzzle sideways on, and we're going to line up that shaved down edge, which is in position there, and we're then going to be able to slide over this U&U piece with this Hanayama piece. So we end up in this position as we look at it from that original position of the U&U engraving facing us. And once we're in this position, we're going to use the nuts that we haven't used yet. So we're going to line up this shaved down nut here, the shaved down edge is there, and we're going to line up this shaved down edge of the bolt, which is here. And at the same time, we'll get back to that original position, which is here. So this is the U&U bolt facing us. We've lined up this piece here, we've lined up this piece here, and we've pushed, but these two nuts now get in the way. So what we're going to have to do is a long, slow, boring process of sliding these nuts. This one on the U&U piece up, this one on the Hanayama piece down, and every time we do, we've then got a little bit more room, so we can push them up together and then do the same thing. Slide this nut down as far as we can get it. Slide this nut up as far as it goes. It will get caught on the opposite piece a couple of times, but then we've got more room in here again to sort of slide past. And we want to get to a point like here where these two nuts go past each other. So they're not stuck here, we get past each other in this position here. And what we then need to do is move these nuts back to where they were. So we're sliding the Hanayama nut back to the top as we're looking at it now, and the one on the U&U to the bottom as we are looking at it now. And what you'll then be able to do is there'll be a point at which it's already happened. So these nuts will be stuck here, and we will need to separate them just by twisting into this position and then separating those two pieces from there. And that is how you separate the U&U puzzle. And for reassembling the U&U puzzle, first of all, ideally you don't want to move the pieces from where they were when you separated them. If you have done, then this is the positions that you need to be in. So the Hanayama piece, as we are looking at it, the right hand side bolt nut is going to be at the top, the left hand side at the bottom, and the same for the U&U. The U&U puzzle or engraving, as we are looking at it, the right hand side is at the top, the left hand side is at the bottom. And for the actual position that we're going to be holding the puzzle in while we're putting it back together is the same one that we attempted or did our best to hold it in as we were taking it apart. So the U&U engraving will be upside down and facing us. What we're then going to do is we're going to take the Hanayama piece in this position, and we're going to have the nut that's in the middle of the bolt, or at the top, however you want to word it, or however you see it. And we're going to come in to this position here, okay? And once these bolts, or these nuts, sorry, have gotten past each other, we're then just going to twist this one down about a third of the way on that bolt, and then we're going to do the opposite, or the same on the opposite piece. So we're going to come about a third of the way to a point where those two nuts can go past each other and into this position here, because what that allows us to do then is line up the shaved down edge, which is already in position here with this bolt, and then on the opposite side we can line up the shaved down edge, which I think that is also in position. That's quite a stroke of luck. And then we push them together and we end up in this position here. And what we can then do, or what we then need to do, is put these nuts back up at the edges. And what we can then do is push them together, and we can then get those bolts past the nuts on this side, and we end up here. And then we're looking at this from the same position as well. So this is the U&U piece facing us. This bit is the Hanayama piece. And we're then going to focus on this nut, and we're going to just turn this puzzle to the side now. And we're going to line up whichever the shaved down edges of this nut, which is this side in here. So this is the shaved down side. We're going to line that up, and we can then, if we come back to this position to see this a bit easier, is when we are lined up, we can twist that piece out to the side in this position here. Now here, if you want, you can slide this nut back down to the bottom. It doesn't make a difference for this next move, but I guess for its proper original position, you'll have to do that at some point anyway. And the final move is we're going back to that shaved down inner bolt piece on the Hanayama side. So again, shouldn't matter which part of the nut we are sliding past, and all we do from there is just wiggle our way down into this position here. There is a spot on here where if you get it exactly right, it slides past perfectly, and it's almost as if there's no resistance whatsoever. It's hard to find that, so the chances are you'll have to do what I've just done and sort of wiggle your way up or wiggle your way back down. And then once you're down in that bottom position, for the proper original position, we slide that nut back to the top, and that is how we reassemble the long-winded U&U puzzle. So there we go, that is how you disassemble and then reassemble the U&U puzzle. As I said at the start, it's very fiddly. There's going backwards and forwards and trying to slide like that first move, trying to get past the nut that doesn't have any shaved down edges is tough, is awkward, but yeah, you will do it eventually with some practice. But hopefully this has helped you solve the U&U puzzle for yourself. If you are having any trouble or you have any questions or anything, comment below and I will help you as much as I possibly can. And if you want to see me struggle through the U&U puzzle for the first time, or any of these other Hanayama puzzles, and then the step-by-step solutions to each and every one of them, then make sure you click my face here to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace!